We are live. We are live. Gonna wait for a few minutes for a couple of you to come. This was an interesting week, to say the least. And the sirens come in at a perfect time just to illustrate all the panic that's going on right now, because I see so much panic. I see so many of you trying to give away your teams. So many of you who are quitting on these players, your Jujus, your Mixons, everybody's panicking, your Mike Evans, your Winstons, all these guys I say I like, and I look like the biggest crock of you-know-what. But let's get into this recap. Let's try to decipher what's real, what's not, because there's a lot of fool's gold out there and there's a lot of diamonds in the roughs, and I want to make sure you guys get them. So guys, without any further ado, if you're watching live, please give me a thumbs up. Please give me a sub if you haven't already, and turn on those bell notifications because we are about to bring it. A lot of you teams are looking up because I get the comments, I get the DMs. So let's continue to build. And if you haven't started the way you like, this could help. Let's start with the Niners and the Bengals. Wasn't much of a game, but what did we learn? What can we take from this game? Well, the Niners zone blocking scheme is for real. Obviously, you could plug in your grandmother and they're going to rush for 100 yards and be fantasy relevant. They had 3 running backs. 3. Peter had like 120 yards and 12 carries. It's a shame he didn't get a touchdown. No passing work. Mostert did get the passing work. He went nuts, had like 20-something fantasy points, depending how you do your scoring. And then even Jeff Wilson, I think, had 2 touchdowns. I'm not a stats guy. I just know all 3 of them balled out. So I ain't got time to look at every single stats, although I did write a few down. Debo, 50% of the snaps. There's a stat for you. Pettis, the other 50% of the snaps. The only difference is Pettis wasn't targeted at all. He might have some relevance later on in the year, but we ain't got time to wait. You want to drop him, you see somebody, I'm sure there's somebody better on your waivers. Drop him, got no problem with that. And I was high on Pettis. I still believe in his talent. And like I said, he still can have a role further down the road. But if you're 0-2, and every week's important, even if you're 2-0, if you're 1-1, you need to win every single week. And obviously, you can't put Pettis in your lineup right now. We're not sure if you're able to put him later on, so he's droppable. We'll worry about that later. Jimmy G looks like he finally got himself. I mean, he looked a lot better, but he couldn't look any worse. I was starting to wonder, but it makes me wonder about something else. Is this Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense for real? It could be. It could be. I mean, they shut down CMC on a short week on the road. That's tough to do. Cam, I'm not that impressed. They shut him down. He gets shut down. But even so, it's on the road, short week. Cam, by the way, he's done. Mitch Trubisky, guys, I'm kind of glad. I got 2 pretty decent quarterbacks in the Throne League. For those of you who are supporters, followers league, we got 2 decent quarterbacks. I know Winston's another guy you guys are jumping off the bandwagon on. But again, if the Bucs defense is for real, Carolina's defense is for real too. And those are Winston's first 2 games in a new offense. I'm not quitting on him just yet. But Bengals side of the ball, boy, oh boy, you guys know who my favorite receivers were all year. Juju, Boyd, Godwin, and Kupp. Boy, are they all looking pretty darn good. Not Juju so much, but still didn't totally blow it. 13 points in back-to-back games, not what we expect from Juju. The first game, though, Stephen Gilmore. You got to actually be happy with that one. Second game, Ben gets hurt, but we saw some flashes from Mason Rudolph. But we're not on that game anyway. Back to Boyd. 10 of 10 targets, 10 receptions, 10 targets, 122 yards. Love Boyd. Don't you dare ask me again if I'm starting Boyd or whoever. The answer's Boyd. They got nobody else. Well, unless you include John Ross, who's been killing it. He had caught 4 of 8 targets, 112 yards, and a touchdown. Looks like that potential might start to manifest itself. This guy, Zach Taylor's looked awesome. Awesome play caller. Andy Dalton's never looked this good. In another tough matchup, because the Niners defense for real too. Andy Dalton had 311 yards, 2 touchdowns. In today's quarterback climate, where we got Ben going down, Breeze going down, and all these other people looking suspect, sorry guys, Andy Dalton might just be your guy. Him and Stafford, believe it or not. I know, it's hard to believe. Excuse me, guys. 1 second here. Chargers and Lions. So, Eckler, guys. Eckler had 17 carries. Like, I knew he was going to do his thing in the passing game. But I actually thought there was a shot that Justin Jackson might be the primary ball carrier. Nope. Eckler, 17 carries, another 7 receptions on 6 targets. Pretty darn impressive, bro. Pretty darn impressive. Eckler's been killing it. He's an RB1. You don't have to ask me about him either. Keenan Allen, 15 targets. You know, tough matchup. But when you get that type of volume, you're going to put in work. Mike Williams, reason I don't like him, doesn't get a lot of targets. Only had 5. Now, he did something with it. 3 for 83. But if you don't get a touchdown, those are, okay numbers. Wide receiver 3 numbers, not going to kill you. But, I didn't think he was going to have a breakout, and he's showing it. He just doesn't get that volume. Rivers doesn't have that gun to be able to use a player like Mike Williams. If Rivers had a bad game, I told you guys that in the pregame. Didn't expect much out of Rivers, and, he showed why. Lions defense, pretty much, you could plug and play them. Even against a good offense like the Chargers, they're going to get their points. They're just a really good defense. Kerryon Johnson, I'm starting to get a little worried. Yes, he had that long pass play that saved him. I get that. But if not for that, he averaged his 2nd week in a row in a good matchup under 4 yards per carry. Only had 12 carries. And it's not like, Anderson and Ty Johnson. Surprisingly, Ty Johnson had many carries as C.J. Anderson. It wasn't until the end that they brought in Anderson. So that was surprising. Ty Johnson looked good, though. He's the real cuff, by the way. I've been saying this for a while. I'm going to repeat it. If you have Kerryon Johnson, make sure you cuff him with Ty. But Kerryon, I'm worried. I don't know. I mean, they do have some problems in the offensive line. But I just thought Darrell Bevell, he's used to being that offensive coordinator that runs a lot, uses the run game a lot, and he just hasn't used Kerryon. So maybe they're easy him in there. I'm not ready to jump off the bandwagon just yet, but I am concerned. Golladay looks like a real wide receiver 1. For me, he was like a top 15 receiver, kind of like in that fringe wide receiver 1. Being that Thielen looks to take a step back this year, so does Diggs, 2 wide receiver 1s last year. I think Golladay could be a low wide receiver 1 as Cooper Kupp. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. Something to note, though. Golladay. Hockenson came back to earth. One of the reasons I wasn't big on Hockenson, one of the reasons I wasn't quick to jump on the Hockenson bandwagon like a lot of people was because I know how Arizona is against tight ends. They are the worst. They're like the Dolphins. So having a big game against Arizona is not that crazy. I need to see more, but a lot of people, they're quick. Look, Hawkinson's talented, but based on the way Detroit has played since I've been alive, remember, they had a talented tight end before, Eric Ebron, 1st-round pick, really good tight end. He showed out last year with luck. Never got it done in Detroit. So I think Hockenson will have his moments like he did in week 1, but he'll also have his games where, he gets 3 targets like he did yesterday. So I wouldn't be relying on him. Vikings and Packers. Boy, oh boy. What the heck's going on with Kirk Cousins? Like Kirk Cousins, I've never been a Kirk Cousins guy. Never been a Kirk Cousins because he's one of those guys that he could light up the bad team and then he could blow it against, anybody good. But geez, he's just, what's his stats? 14 of 32? Ugh. After throwing 10 passes last week, 230 yards and 1 touchdown. Like, I get it. Green Bay is good. They were on the road, but come on. You can't do that. Diggs, only one target again. Yes, 49 yards and a touchdown. That saved them, but that's got to be discouraging. The only Viking I want right now, I mean, if you got Diggs and Thielen, I mean, I would try to get rid of them, but if you're stuck with them, you're stuck with them. I guess you play them. But they're definitely not wide receiver ones. They're kind of like 2s and 3s, maybe Thielen's 2. Diggs kind of like may end up with 2 numbers, but he'll have weeks like we saw in week 1 where it's not looking good. But Dalvin Cook, 20 carries, 154 yards, and a touchdown. Now, I don't know if I should be excited about those numbers. I mean, I'm not surprised at the least bit. I think I had kept Dalvin Cook top 5, top 6. I don't remember. But I'm a little concerned because 20 carries, this guy's been injury prone. And if you continue to allow Dalvin Cook to have all that pressure on his shoulders and carry the load every single week, 20 plus carries, I don't know how I feel about that. I know he's talented enough to do what we've seen the last 2 weeks. I just don't know is he going to hold up getting that many touches. Like, he ain't Zeke. He ain't Barkley as far as from a physical standpoint. So make sure if you got Cook, you keep him, but you cuff him. I would be trying to get Madison at all costs. You got to overpay for Madison, and you overpay for him because that's the only concern I have. Similar concerns to his opponents. Aaron Jones, 27 touches? Again, I don't know if I should be excited or concerned because, yes, Aaron Jones, am I surprised? Maybe because he did it against the Vikings. That's tough, especially after last week where he wasn't using the passing game. And that's the other thing. He caught 4 of 6 targets. 6 targets. That's going to put him into elite status. If Aaron Jones stays healthy, the only reason Aaron Jones was low, and I had Aaron Jones higher than most. I had Aaron Jones top 10. But to me, that was low because I would have had him top 5 if I know for sure he's going to be injury-free. So for me, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised it touches 27 touches. That's a lot. 6 targets. But I'm not surprised at the production, especially with Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur knows running backs. He runs that zone scheme, and he uses the running backs in the passing game. So amazing because he only had 57% of the snaps, and then he gets 27 touches. That's crazy. So, I mean, Jamal Williams is not as good a handcuff as Madison because Madison's better than Jamal Williams. But if you got Jones, you get Jamal Williams. He's probably on your waiver because again, if you're using an injury-prone back like that, those amount of touches, he will produce. I just get scared, guys. I just get scared. Colts and Titans. I don't know why. This is the game I saw maybe none of. I'm just box score watch. I'm just being honest. Because Titans, that's just a nasty game. It's just not a lot of fantasy guys. But T.Y., you can't deny it. Like, T.Y.'s on a mission. T.Y. Hilton's on a mission. But how much longer could it last? Because he only had 6 targets. He made the most out of them, 4 for 43 and a touchdown, which ultimately saved his day. But how much more are we going to be able to count on those touchdowns with a shaky quarterback? I mean, Jacoby Brissett, he'll keep you in the game. As you see, they won. He's a good real-life quarterback, good game manager. You know what I'm saying? He won't kill it for you. But that's not what we care about in fantasy. So I'd be probably trying to sell high on T.Y. And I told you to sell high on Mac because we've seen exactly the real Mac. Will the real Mac please stand up? He sure did week 2. 20 carries, 51 yards. That's the Mac I know. It's going to be like this. That's why I don't like him because he's not heavily involved in the passing game. 2 targets, 12 yards. Again, players like that, they don't get a touchdown. Another guy like that, Derrick Henry, but he has been getting touchdowns. 15 carries, 81 yards, and a touchdown. Touchdown saved him. Mariota, he's back to being a pumpkin. 154 yards. Some people are actually jumping on that bandwagon. No. Delaney Walker led the team in targets. 6 targets, 4 catches, 39 yards. I mean, it's a tight end, whatever. The way tight ends have looked this year, the way tight ends have been in general, you're starting Delaney Walker. Corey Davis, you could drop him. There's no pass catcher in that offense who's going to be anything remotely consistent. Drop them all, except for Delaney Walker. Pats and Fins, I mean, what do we talk about here? The Pats defense? Of course, Antonio Brown, 20 snaps, targeted 8 times. 4 catches, 56 yards, and a touchdown. Josh Gordon, he's almost droppable. I mean, you got him, you keep him, you try to sell him to some nook, but Julian Edelman's not droppable. I think, Brian Flores knows the Patriots system. He knows what the Patriots want to do. So Julian Edelman usually kills the Dolphins. He didn't, but they didn't know what to do with AB because they never had AB. And what's encouraging is they lined him up a lot in the slot. AB's in the slot. Oh, good Lord. So AB's a nice move. I don't know if I'm buying or selling AB. I'm definitely not buying him. If I have AB, I'm either holding him or selling him if I could get real value. I'm not selling him at a discount, but because it's AB and because it's the Pats and they change game to game, I mean, I think AB will be consistent, but I still wouldn't mind selling him. I'm just not actively pursuing to sell him, but I would sell him at the right price. I just wouldn't give him away. Here's one guy I am selling, Sony Michel. That offensive line, I heard it all offseason. They're not getting any push, even against a bad Miami Dolphins. Yes, he got a decent game, but, 21 carries for where's Michel? 21 carries for 85 yards is not great. He's not involved in the passing game. Yes, the touchdown saved them, but that offensive line is not a good run offensive line. Sell him off the touchdown. Get rid of Sony Michel ASAP. Fins, what are we going to talk about? Drake had 6 targets. Ballage looks horrible. That's one bandwagon I wasn't on. A lot of people are jumping on that real quick, but he looks horrible. He's horrible. What do you have? He caught 1 ball out of 5 targets, 4 carries, 6 yards. Cut him. The Bills and the Giants, Josh Allen, again, it doesn't look pretty, doesn't need to. He produces 19 of 30, 253 yards and a touchdown, had another running touchdown. John Brown continues to get targets. 8 targets, caught 7 of them, 72 yards. That's cool. Beasley's been consistent too. 4 catches, 83 yards. Again, Beasley's somebody worth considering for deeper leagues and once those bye weeks because he's not going to kill you. He's gotten you over 10 points 2 straight weeks. I'll take that as my wide receiver 3 as long as my other positions are balling. It's not bad. Saquon, I feel sorry for this guy. 18 carries, 107 yards. But I think we're getting closer to the Daniel Jones era. If that happens, I think it helps everybody. Ingram, 6 for 48. A lot of those came in junk time. So, again, Daniel Jones, we need him. Saints and Rams, obviously Brees, sad. A lot of people take a hit. Michael Thomas still had a lot of catches and targets, had caught 10 balls out of 13 targets, only 89 yards though, so a lot of short stuff. Kamara only caught 1 for 15, 3 targets. I think he takes the biggest hit. Thomas, I think, will still give you a safe floor, but Bridgewater's not a very good throwing quarterback. He's more like a game manager. You know what I'm saying? So, he's kind of like Jacoby Brissett. They're kind of like the same guy where they won't kill it for you. He might come through with some clutch throws when you need him, but they aren't going to air it out. There aren't going to be this prolific offense with Teddy Bridgewater. Get that right. Rams, Gurley looks like a shell of himself. Definitely so high on Gurley. Luckily, he got a touchdown again, 16 for 63. And I'm not blaming, the production because this is a good run defense. So 16 for 63, it's not great, but it's more so he's not really involved in the passing game. 3 or 4 targets for like 4 yards. Tell you who I do like, though, Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's killing it. Led in targets again, had 5 catches, 120 yards, came this short, like an inch of getting a touchdown, having an even bigger game. Love what I seen out of Cooper Kupp, getting the targets, showing his size and speed. And I love Cooper Kupp, man. Love Cooper Kupp. Malcolm Brown has looked better than Gurley, 6 for 37, 1 catch, 10 yards. Small, but he's definitely worth. Make sure you handcuff with Malcolm Brown. Hawks and the Steelers, again, Big Ben down. But unlike the whole Saints, Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Brees, I think Mason Rudolph is not as significant a downgrade. He actually played better yesterday. Vance McDonald caught 2 touchdowns. Juju had 5 catches, 84 yards. Most of those came when Mason Rudolph was in the game. So I think Juju and Vance, pretty solid still. I don't know if Juju's going to be the top 3 to 5 receiver that I said he was going to be, but he's definitely still a wide receiver 1. If somebody's panicking, buy low on Juju. Don't worry so much there. James Conner is probably an even kilt. I don't think he takes a hit. I don't think he gets an upgrade. He might, get more touches because, Big Ben's not in there, but the offense as a whole is not going to be as good. So it's kind of like a mute, level. Vance McDonald is the only one I think that probably benefits a little bit just because backup quarterbacks tend to play it safe and lean more on the tight ends. We saw it last year with Nick Mullins and George Kittle, which is one of the reasons I said George Kittle is going to go down this year. And so far, it looks like I am correct. Russell Wilson. I said it. Were you guys here? I said Russell Wilson's the weirdest quarterback. In the best matchups, he falters. At home against Cincinnati, the same Cincinnati that Jimmy G, who looked terrible week 1, lit them up on the road. Russell Wilson, I don't think he had 200 yards. And then here, Pittsburgh on the road, decent defense. He lights them up, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. By the way, Metcalf, looking good. Lockett, 12 targets? Since when does Lockett get 12 targets? See, that's what I hate about the Seattle offense. They're so unpredictable. I don't want any of them. I'm sorry, I don't. Yes, Lockett did good and a touchdown saving week. I don't want it. I don't. It's so unpredictable. It's so annoying. Will Dissly, whatever his name is, I think he had like 2 touchdowns, 55 yards. I bet he catches 1 pass next week because that's what he did week 1, and that's what I've seen Seattle do every single year. I've fallen for that trap. I remember Vinay, this guy Nick Vinay, he looked like he was on the come up. Had a big game. Next week he had like a donut. I'm off that. I'm off that. But Metcalf looks good. Metcalf looks like the number 1 receiver there. I still worry about the injuries, but he's worth an ad. He's probably picked up anyway, but I'm not it's not somebody I'm actively pursuing, but I'm just saying, just from the outside looking in, he looks good. I would still sell high on Tyler Lockett. I don't know which Tyler Lockett's going to show up, but it's I like following the volume. And yes, he got it this game, but I just don't know. Just don't. Cowboys and Skins. Dak, 26 of 33 touchdowns on the road. He looked to be turning into a pumpkin again the first quarter, had no scores. All of a sudden, he just turns it up. He also had like 60-something rushing yards. Dak's pretty much an every week starter. But remember, guys, Giants, Redskins, first 2 games. Now, they were on the road, so I got to give them a little bit of credit, but not exactly – the Baltimore Ravens there. So the new offense looks good, though. Michael Gallup, loved him this game, had 6 for 68, but now he's out for 2 to 4 weeks. So kind of sucks. Really liked him. But who knows? Amari Cooper might get hurt, and then by the time Gallup comes back, he might be the guy. Amari Cooper continues to look good, though. Great matchup. Did his thing. 4 for 44. Again, the touchdown saved him, but it is what it is. Zeke, 23 carries, 111 yards. Zeke's going to be Zeke. Zeke's going to eat. Amazing what this guy's been able to do and be so healthy. Now on the skin side of the ball, Chris Thompson's going to get a lot of targets. We see that. But this guy, Terry McLaurin, this guy's for real. Like, for real. Like, he could be a number 1 wide receiver. Now, I don't know yet in fantasy, but I'm just saying for that team, he has the length, the speed, the separation. He makes difficult catches. He makes life easier for Case Keenum. And in a tough matchup going against Byron Jones, he showed up. He had a touchdown, 5 for 62. Very, very, very impressed by Terry McLaurin. AP had a touchdown. Guy's life ageless, kind of like another guy who had a touchdown. I forgot to mention Frank Gore had a touchdown. Somehow this guy just manages to be fantasy relevant every year. Like, you don't even think he's going to make the team. Not only does he make the team, he starts, he leads the team in carries, he gets a touchdown. You just don't get it. But he produces. Like, numbers don't lie. I mean, they do, but in the case of Gore, not really. Cards and Ravens. This game I probably talked about the most. I said if Kyler Murray shows us something this game, he's the truth. Well, guess what? He didn't have a lot of fantasy points, but 25 of 40, 349 yards against the Ravens on the road as a rookie. Boy, shish. Fitz, another ageless one. 5 catches of 11 targets, 104 yards. Kirk, 6 of 8 catches, 114 yards. Both of these guys are must starts right now. Love me, Christian Kirk. Larry Fitz, the truth. David Johnson had a bad game. That was expected, but he also missed some time, wrist injury, but I hear he's good to go. Connor also, for the Steelers, had a little knee injury, but he might miss a week, but it appears it's not serious. You should be cuffing Connor, by the way, with Samuels. Mark Ingram, not big on this guy. Looks like he got injured. Didn't have a really good game, 13 for 47. Yeah, I'm not big on him. But Marquise Hollywood Brown, 13 targets? Are you kidding me? For sure. You're getting that much volume, dude. You're an every week starter. He's a pencil in wide receiver 3. Lamar Jackson's actually a decent QB. Again, first game, home game, because it was at Miami where he's from, and it was the Dolphins. Second game against Arizona. Like you can't draw it up any better than having Miami where you're from on the road and Arizona at home. But numbers don't, well, I keep saying numbers don't lie, but they do lie. But either way, he had 12 carries, 120 yards rushing, 270 yards passing, and Mark Andrews continues to get fed. Again, Miami and Arizona are the worst, so he's not going to be doing this every game. If you could get really good value, I'd sell him, but he is a TE1. So I wouldn't sell him as fool's gold. I would just sell him on a high because this is the most you'll be able to get from Mark Andrews, but he's still the real deal. Jags, Texans, another guy that's kind of like a game manager, Minshew. Numbers weren't great, 23 of 33. Didn't have very many passing yards, like 200, just over 200 yards. He did do some work on the ground game, something he didn't really do much in college. He had 6 carries, 56 yards. So he had a decent game. But, I mean, the Jaguars' offense just as a whole, it's just not that good. Fournette, he's just not that good. He's getting the volume, but the offense isn't that good. He isn't that great. D.D. Westbrook laid an egg, had 1 catch. The one who did look good was DJ Shark. And I also did remember, if you guys make sure that you're tuning in for my waiver program, because I had DJ Shark on there. I talked about McLaurin. DJ Shark was actually my number 2 pickup, who's, now people are starting to tell you to pick him up. But I know what I saw, and that's why I trust my eyes. And we saw it again. I saw a guy that could possibly be this team's number 1 receiver, and they treated him that way. And he led in targets, 6 of 56 balls, 6 catches, 56 yards, and a touchdown. Again, Minshew is going to limit his upside, but if he's still a wide receiver 1 on that team, and if he still has all that talent, he can still be a wide receiver 3 for your fantasy team. So pick him up if you haven't already. I mentioned Texans. Hyde has looked better than Duke, but this is another situation where Hyde had 20 carries. Surprised he had that many, 90 yards. But if you don't get a touchdown and you're not involved in the passing game, that's 9 points. Duke actually looked pretty good. Yeah, 6 carries for 31 yards, so 5.2 average. That's good. But he only got 1 target. And Duke's the type of player, he needs to get targets. So kind of a letdown game, but the offense as a whole didn't play good. I do think there'll be better days for Duke Johnson, so I'm not ready to jump off that bandwagon. I'm not ready to say Carlos Hyde is better, because even in a good Hyde game, which we saw, 20 carries, 90 yards, no touchdown, no passing game, still 9 points. So definitely still like Duke. If you could buy low, I'm not willing to give up on Duke just yet. DeAndre Hopkins, Ramsey played a good game. Watson, Jaguars came to play. It was a division game. They're very familiar with that offense, and they show up. The Jaguars are one of those defenses. They show up every once in a while. You just never know when it's going to be. Yesterday was it. Chiefs and Raiders. Mahomes. The GOAT. Jesus, Mahomes. 443 yards, 4 touchdowns. It basically all came in one quarter. Denard Robinson, 6 catches, 172 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kelsey, 7 catches, 107 yards and a touchdown. I didn't even expect that. Mecole Hardman, I wouldn't rely on this production every week, but he caught him on a deep one, had 4 catches, 61 yards, and a touchdown. Sammy Watkins, this guy, the number 1 corner from the Raiders, is actually pretty good. I think his name's Conley. He's injury prone, but he's good. So this could be a fluke situation because Sammy Watkins still had 13 targets. And that's what I look for more than anything. I look more at targets and volume than I do production because if the volume and the targets are there, the production will eventually be there. And Sammy Watkins still getting 13 targets, caught 6 balls, 49 yards. Yeah, that's still really, really good. Jacobs, 12 carries, 99 yards. This guy's the truth. Would like to see him more involved in the passing game. Derek Carr proved he was a pumpkin. Williams might have gotten shaken up. Damian Williams, McCoy, neither one of them looked good, but that Raiders run defense looks like it might be pretty decent this year. But still, I'm not feeling good about that situation. Darwin Thompson might be a little deep stash. Bears and Broncos. Jeez. Is there a quarterback that looks worse right now than Mitch Trubisky? I mean, Kirk Cousins might be saying, hold my beer, and so will Cam Newton. But those 3 guys, they look horrible. Horrible. Mitch looks like a straight-up bust. Not even Matt Nagy could save this guy. Drop him. Montgomery, first touchdown, didn't have a lot of yards per carry, but Denver has one of the best rushing defenses in the league, playing at home. The thing I like is he had 18 carries. Mike Davis, only 3. So the worries are over with, guys. Montgomery will be that guy. No worries now. He got 15 more carries, scored his first touchdown on the road, tough matchup. I'm more worried about the offense as a whole because Mitch Trubisky, like I said, sucks. And Allen Robinson, this is why I wasn't high on Robinson. It has nothing to do with him. It has to do with Mitch Trubisky and them spreading the ball, and he's not going to be consistent. So I don't know if I put him on my sell high, but I meant to, and I still feel that way. Broncos. Flacco sucks. But surprisingly, like, Flacco sucks, but I think there could be a lot of fantasy relevant players in this offense. Sanders, 10 of 13 targets, 113 yards, or no, 11 of 13 targets, 98 yards and a touchdown. This guy looks good. How the heck did this guy, 32 years old, Achilles late in the year, and he is balling like he hasn't missed a step. I would buy low on Courtland Sutton, though. Very tough matchup going against Kyle Fuller. Still love his production. Not great, 4 for 40. But the talent is there. You see it. He still has 7 targets. I would buy low on Sutton right now because this might be your last chance. He's good. And you never know. 32 years old, coming off an Achilles. Sanders looking great right now, but his injury risk, still might be there. Running back situation, that's what everybody cares about most when it comes to these teams. Lindsey hasn't looked good. Freeman has looked better. Lindsey averaged 2.8 yards per carry against the Bears. But against those same Bears, Freeman, 4.9 yards per carry. Freeman, 5 passes for 48 yards. I am very, very, very impressed the way Royce Freeman has been able to catch the football and how he looks natural as a pass catcher and has soft hands. Like, these haven't been like little out screen passes. He's been running kind of routes, and they haven't, because Flacco doesn't throw a good ball, which has hurt Lindsey. It come off his hands quite a few, but Freeman is catching those. Whoa, Flacco! And he's bringing them in. Freeman's a buy low. I'm telling you now, big upside. Big upside. Philly and the Atlanta, none of these people look good. Wentz, I'm starting to have my doubt on Wentz. Just when this guy, 25 of 43, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Now, I know the whole offense was basically injured for the Eagles, but still, man, Wentz, I don't know. I'm starting to question if he's going to be that elite MVP type quarterback we saw in 2017. I really am. Ertz, 8 for 72, but, I mean, it was Atlanta. He was supposed to do even better. Sanders, not looking good. 10 carries, 28 yards. He did have, 3 or 4 catches for 9 yards. Sanders looking kind of busty right now, but I'm not willing to give up on him. But Atlanta offense got their stuff together. Each Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley each had 10 targets. Jones went 5 for 106, had that big touchdown at the end of the game to seal the game. 2 touchdowns, looked really good. But again, Darby, Philadelphia's corners. So, I mean, Julio's Julio, but just he's not going to be doing that every game. Ridley, 8 for 108, continues to prove. This could be like the A, B, and Juju of this year. These 2 receivers are both great in the right offense where they can ball out. So I'm excited about both of these guys. I'm a little worried about Jones. He left the game for a little bit because of injury. That's my big worry. Not whether he can produce when he's healthy, but he's still an injury risk in my opinion. Matt Ryan had 320 yards. You like the 3 touchdowns. You like the yards. You don't like the 3 picks. But we'll see. He had a clunker in week 1, even though he still managed to get 18 points through 3 picks, like I said. But I'm not crazy about Matt Ryan. Never been a Matt Ryan guy. But at the end of the day, the numbers were there. At the end of the day, I still think, Ridley and Julio, as long as he's healthy, will do their thing. Hooper, not the best game, but had 6 targets. As a tight end, if you're getting 6 to 7 targets every week, I'll take that all day. That's all you could ask for as a tight end. And Philly's one of the best at guarding the tight end. So expect better days from Hooper. And I think that pretty much concludes this week 2 recap. If you have any questions, guys, are going to be getting off here. Comment down below, as always, at Fantasy Football Rapper on Instagram, at IamFF Rapper on Twitter. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until next time,